What's the most toxic fandom you've ever seen? Some anime fandoms are really freaking weird. Not all anime, but some of them. The sexualization of My Little Pony is pretty bad. Tumblr Superheroic fandom around 2014 to 2015. Nobody hates the professional sports team franchises in Philadelphia as much as the fans of professional sports team franchises in Philadelphia. Fandoms for wholesome series, Steven Universe, Animal Crossing, etc. tend to attract the absolute worst people. It's put me off of people who obsess over cutesy things and preach positive vibes only because the ones I've met who do this have always been super toxic beneath it all. The 12-year-olds at the Magic the Gathering tournament made me quit playing it almost as fast as I started. Surprised no one mentioned Undertale yet. But to each their own, I guess. Edit because I've just read a few comments. I'm glad to hear the Undertale fandom is doing better now. So please don't feel offended by me naming it. But I was there. In 2015. On Tumblr and YouTube. And those people were really weird. Aggressive and exhausting. I personally love Undertale as a game and I'm glad that it sparks so many talented fan creators' careers. But, at least in the past, it was definitely a toxic fandom. Also, I've seen way too many 11-year-old kids thrust force on and that scarred me for life, dude. Pop is probably the worst for toxicity. But that's probably due to how big it is. Certain pockets are allowed to fester and rot for too long. And they get really bad. Having been part of a lot of fandoms and seen dark sides to many, MLP, Star Trek, Star Wars, Mass Effect and more, but know that most are just full of chill people. Goddamn Steven Universe. I will never forget when one atheist attacked a kid who was terminally ill for leaking info for episodes he got to watch early due to Make-A-Wish 2. A group of Tumblr users drove a 13-year-old girl to suicide. Unsuccessful, thankfully, for drawing a stylized depiction of Rose then showed her too thin. 3. Several calling the Jewish NB bisexual showrunner an artsy for making the genociding villain sympathetic and added more. A lot of game fandoms are really toxic and weird. The Undertale fandom kinda calmed down a bit today, but I remember back in 2016-2017, you would see many girls who would want to marry Son the Skeleton. And also there were also all the Megalovania memes. Full stop. I love the song and the character from the original game, but I would hear about him every day in high school. And on YouTube. I would also see him. Which made me sick of it at some point. But, as I say, now, things calmed down a bit and I know that some members of the fandom are really nice people who enjoy the game without necessarily considering it like the game of the year. I mean, it's a good game, but I don't know if I would name it the game of the year. Not only seen but been in pop. It's a common answer for a reason. I got bullied relentlessly on Twitter for a slight disagreement over the idols, BTS, sneezing. Like WTF? I got pooped for not knowing what certain memes or things were. And aside from how they treat other people, they treat the members just worse. In a very subtle "I'm just overly in love with them" kind of way. It's awful that they get so obsessed to the point of hating and sending threats to the members if there's even a rumor that they're dating someone. Certain elements of the Star Wars fandom are awful. A lot of YouTuber stands. I will never understand how people think they know these YouTubers or consider them friends to the point that they'll harass and say horrible things to defend their favorite. Like, why so invested? Why so toxic? Smash Brothers. Look, I get that I'm playing a low tier character. I know I didn't eject it correctly. I know the optimal chain grab. I don't really care. It's much more fun to actually fight someone than to just watch them struggle to get back on the ground. It's more fun to play different characters than to just play the one that has the highest win rate. Reddit lol. Doctor Who is one of the worst. I helped run a few pages on FB and had one of my own. You would think the shared love of something would bring people together, but it didn't. There was so much bullying and crap, not just from members of the pages but admin too. One very popular fan Doctor Who page, the admin is so toxic because he wants to be the only fan page about, and he looks like he is all roses and rainbows from the outside, but to anybody he sees a threat of taking his fans. He is a snake. He pushed a lot of people to depression and the fans back him up because they think he is a wonderful fellow. Some MHA fans are pretty toxic. I love the woman, as she's incredibly talented. I'm all for constructive criticism regarding an artist, but I cannot understand why they can't stomach anything that's not blindingly loyal. It's odd. The Dream fan base is almost purely toxic. BBQ restaurants. Whatever town region you may be from, there will be insane bickering on what is authentic and what is the best. It's ridiculous. Newer Minecraft fans. For context, Tom Iron, 16-year-old Minecraft streamer YouTuber, is walking home from college and this girl chases him down and is just staring at him. I feel bad for him. They're not the worst because some are good, but I'm not a fan of the stalker fan. I'm not saying which for privacy of the person involved, but one doxed a 14-year-old girl after finding out she may be a child to a multimillionaire. They claimed she was leading a double life and lying to us. It's not like she asked for money or anything. She just wanted to post content and be part of the fandom. She just didn't disclose that her dad may be a wealthy business owner. They then went on house listing sites in her state. Her house was for sale when this happened. She'd said she was moving and found her house based on photos selfies she'd taken and posted within her house over the years, and they leaked her suspected dad's name and what would be her last name, and the house listing compared to images from her account. NGL, I'm 90% certain this is the same house. Then they included her address. She left the fandom IDK while she's up to now. The fricking Bayhive. League of Legends. Surprised that nobody's mentioned the Voltron fandom yet. They sent death threats to the voice actors, writers, DreamWorks. It was awful. Full of teenage girls wanting to frick Jeff the Killer. Toxic arguments and shipping. A lot of porn, and 2 girls tried, and almost succeeded, to kill their friend in the name of Slenderman. Among Us. Some of those people will start and try to cuss you out for wrongly voting. Bad team. Or losing edit. I did not expect this comment to go anywhere. Big Brother. Holy crap. Those of you who aren't a part of this fandom have no idea. For those that aren't familiar, there are 24 hours, mostly. It's cut for competitions, live feeds of the contestants over the 3 months of filming. The fans who watch these often get very emotionally attached to the players. The levels of love and hate run way higher than normal. If you go on the show and do something that the stands don't like, they will try to ruin your life. For real. They will contact your family, try to get you fired from your job, constantly harass you online, etc. There have been players that have said pretty awful things and gotten justified pushback. But there have also been players targeted by crazy fans for playing the game. Scheming against or voting out a fan favorite contestant is enough to have BB Twitter label you a bully and go on the attack. It's crazy. Also, if you're a fan who speaks out against that or dares to like a player others don't, then they will turn on you. I've been a fan since the first season. I love the show and the live feeds, but I've learned to avoid most of the online spaces where people discuss it. BTS. Harry Potter is pretty strange. Joe Rogan. Jesus, fanboys got really out of control back in the 11th century. Swifties would die defending her if she decided to put out an album of noises she makes while taking a poop and it didn't get a Grammy nomination. It has to be a tie between Rick and Morty or Steven Universe. RuPaul's Drag Race. So many contestants have been bullied off social media by people in the fandom, as well as many racist comments which are actually unbelievable. My Hero Academia. Star Wars has always been one of the worst in my eyes. Bullying a 10-year-old boy just because they didn't like how he played young Anakin was disgusting. Beyond K. They put that woman on a pedestal and act like she's God. NHA and BTS. Fortnite kids are toxic and crazy, and GTA Online players are toxic, crazy, weird, psychopathic hackers. Call of Duty. Every fandom I've been in had its moments. But luckily I always kept a good distance and watched the fireworks from afar. However, that changed when I became a fan of Sherlock and Elementary. I liked them both. But Sherlock fans became notorious for coming into Elementary fandom spaces and starting poop. So I was experiencing negativity from all sides. Their hatred killed my interest in the show long before they killed the show with their increasing poop-tea episodes. So I take great glee knowing how horrible their final season was, whereas Elementary ended on a positive, good ending with most of their storylines wrapped up. But I feel like the Harry Potter fandom is really toxic. I haven't been in many others, but I was, for a time, in the Twilight fandom, where people very much recognize toxicity of the original content and write mostly because it's really easy to write Twilight fics, and I've got horrible experiences being cyberbullied because of that. I mean, yes, fine. Your book series is the most famous book series ever written. Okay. I got it. You like it more than any other work of writing in the world. Okay. To say, and I quote, "If you don't like Harry Potter." I don't think so. Of course. This is just the part of the fandom I've been in. I realize there are other type of HP fans too. But the ones I've experienced act like that. If you don't like Harry Potter, you're the bad guy. Honestly. The romance community. I've written romance for years. And most of the community is great. But the rest is racist, sexist, ableist, entitled trash. Authors who stalk readers who leave them a bad review. And readers who say things like, "I know her mom had cancer or something, but we've been waiting X years for the next book." This is unreasonable. There are days you just really freaking hate it. Barbs. Brinies.
Hi there. Look, if you enjoyed the video, well, why not go ahead and hit that like and subscribe to Reddit Stories. In fact, if you want to see even more responses to this thread, well then, take a look. There's the link in the description below. And remember, show some love to those authors while you're there. And I look forward to seeing you next time.